This last number of years, to make up my wee bit income on the croft, I have opened several local commercial radio stations up and down the Highlands and Islands of Scotland. So for the next wee while, I want you to imagine you're not here at all. You've woken up this morning, you stretch out a weary hand for the wireless, and you miss Radio Scotland or the BBC or Murray Firth, whatever you listen to, and you hit Colin Campbell's low-budget outfit. Well, depending on where you lived, it might just sounded something like this. We're swinging on the Chingaland through the day. Johnny Polson's a lad to keep ye gay. He's completely tireless, so tune in your wireless till swing on Radio Caithness. Well, hello there. Hello, hello, good morning. Good morning and welcome to y'all here till Radio Caithness. This is your swing on, fun-loving desk chokey. Johnny Polson bringing ye all lots of very best in radio entertainment across the hills and moors. Now we're coming to you as usual on the following frequencies, or usual frequencies: 809.6 kilohertz, 504.9 megahertz, or for most of our rural listeners and the bobbies, that's about an inch and a... That's about an inch and a half from my left on your dial. Yes. Yes, we'll be swinging on a Chingland. And later in today's fun-packed programme, we'll be having our Gearden phone-in programme. This week entitled Gearden Doon Wen from Doon Ray. And I'll be speaking to a wifey from Strathalladale who tells me her tatty plants have mutated and now they keep trying to strangle her. And her dog is missing. We'll be having our recipe of the week. This recipe this week given to me by our engineer here, Big Choke Budge. Now, you'll all mind that Choke, he's a bit of a poacher. He's always out there amongst the small game with his snares and his traps. Well, he's called his recipe appropriately enough Choke Strap Stew. We'll be having a report about the ugly scenes last night at Harpsdale WRI when Colin Campbell modelled for the art class with a neep in his lap. But all this comes much later, because we're away across now to Radio Betty Hill in Sutherland for this morning's local news headlines. Radio Betty Hill. Hello, good morning. Good morning and welcome to Radio Betty Hill. John Angus Mackay reporting from here in the far north of Sutherland. Well, here are the local news headlines. Following complaints from the tourists that cowpats are making some of the single-track roads in the Highlands impassable, the ever-resourceful Highland region have got the YTS to stick bits of reflecting glass in them. Set them up the middle of the road and call them cow's eyes. Now, this just goes to prove my point. They cannot tell their eyes from their elbow. After allegations that collies taking part in the sheepdog trials may be on steroids, a dog at the Kinloch Bervie trial was disqualified for carrying the sheep into the pen. North poacher Colin Campbell, who spent 6 weeks inside a salmon smoking room hiding from the police, has been fined £30 for poaching and £60 for being an illegal immigrant. He says it was no bad experience, as every third day a lassie came in and rubbed him all over with a mixture of brown sugar and malt whiskey. Following the government announcement that they're going to rehouse 3 million Hong Kong Chinese in the Highlands, our local bed and breakfast landladies have already taken down their old signs and put up new ones, which read Chow En Lai. The nuclear authority NIREX has merged with the Forestry Commission in a multi-million-pound deal. A spokesman said the two companies should complement one another. Nirex will build a huge underground nuclear dump in the Flow country, and then the Forestry Commission will plant special deep-rooted Christmas trees on the top of it. Now, these Christmas trees will have the added advantage that when they're harvested and sold, they'll have their own built-in fairy lights. Well, that's all the news here at Radio Betty Hill this morning. And now we're away across to Radio Back on the island of Lewis for this morning's forecast, the weather forecast for the Highlands and Islands. Presented this morning by the Reverend Colin MacLeod, our new presenter over there, founder of the small breakaway religious sect on the island of Lewis, the Hebridean Moon Revivalist Church. Hebridean Isle, tune in with a smile. Let Radio Back take up the slack. Callum MacLeod, sing it out loud, swinging Radio Back. Greetings. Greetings, fellow sinners, and welcome back to Back. Welcome to this morning's weather forecast, prepared and read by the Reverend Colin MacLeod. Well, the day will start fine, but a very low and deepening depression will chastise you all by mid-morning. The present light breeze will become a screeching, howling, wailing banshee of a gale, with loud claps of deafening thunder, terrible forks of lightning, sheets of horizontal rain will be followed by a plague of millions of biting midges. Yes, by dinner time, hell, fire, flood, and pestilence will be upon you all. However, toward evening, the day will improve dramatically as a lovely warm front moves in. The widow McLennan's coming round to see me. Well, that's the weather forecast here at Radio Back this morning. And now it's time for your early morning letter spot, your problem letters here to Radio Back. And a problem shared with the Reverend MacLeod is a problem solved. Now, I have a letter here from a lady in Kinlochnoidert. She signs herself as Miss Worried of Kinlochnoidert. She says she's awful worried about the hippies who have bought the croft next door to hers. She says she thinks they're growing marijuana. But the hippies say it's cabbage. And how can she tell the difference? Well, sadly, not an uncommon occurrence in the West these days, Miss Worried. Now, the way I would handle this is you don't want to fall out with your neighbours. Go along and ask the hippies if you can try some. Now, Miss Worried, when you've eaten it, if after half an hour you're still worried, then it's cabbage. Yes, well now, we have a wee bit of a song spinning on the turntable for you here this morning at Radio Back. Sung on this recording by a former member of the Stornoway Stock Exchange, a failed seaweed broker, Colin Campbell. Colin went bust after selling a cargo of seaweed to the Chinese as an aphrodisiac. But the vessel he hired was a Caledonian McBrain on a Sunday sailing. So she took a day longer than expected to reach Peking, with the result that the cargo went high on the high seas. Now, in the ensuing much publicised court case, the importer, the local importer, a local man, a second-generation Chinese restaurateur from Harris, Murdo Hu Flang McDang, he said all he had got for his money was a smell. In his now famous reply, Mr. Campbell sang, "Oh, you've just smelt the tangle of the isles." Here's a wee song from the past for you. It's called The Shore Path to Kyle. Thank you. Come and walk with me, lassie, along the shore path by the blue hills of Rossshire and shining Loch Alsh. Oh, the steamer is waiting to take you away across the wild Minch to Farstone I remember the first time we walked o'er the path on the wild grey Atlantic, it shook with such wrath, and I first held your hand to help o'er a stile, and you walked by my side on the shore path to Kyle. Come and walk with me, lassie, along the shore path by the blue hills of Rossshire and shining Loch Alsh. Oh, the steamer is waiting to take you away across the wild Minch to Farstone Let us stand for a while and look o'er the sky where the wild birds are calling, they're saying goodbye. And so we must part, looking back o'er the years, and your blue eyes are shining, fighting back all the tears. Come and walk with me, lassie, along the shore path by the blue hills of Rossshire and shining Loch Alsh. Oh, the steamer is waiting to take you away across the wild Minch to Farstone across the wild Minch to Farstone Yes, now it's back to Radio Caithness and Johnny for their phone-in programme. Are you there, John? Well, yes, welcome back. And now it's time for our phone-in programme on topical issues affecting the Highlands. Dial John for justice. And this week we're looking at plans by Nyrex to build a huge underground nuclear dump in Caithness. And indeed, several teams of Nyrex investigators have been all over the county looking for a suitable site. And indeed, they have been till the croft of our first caller, 88-year-old Miss Bessie Budge of Jonagroats. Well, I see she's on the line here. Hello, Bessie. Hello, Johnny. Now, Bessie, just ye take your time and in your own words tell me and the listeners here what happened when this high-powered team of investigators from Nyrex came to your croft here at Jonagroats. Oh, Johnny, well, I was just finished welding a patch on a down spreader when there was a lassie and 3 chillies came to the door here saying they were from Nyrex. Well, Johnny, as you know, I'm a bit hard o' hearing, so I thought at first they said they were from Pyrex. A fine for my ovenware makers, Johnny, for whom I have great admiration, having used their containers over the years. Well, under this severe misapprehension, Johnny, I took them in and I treated them like royalty. The very best they had in the house here, potted hide sandwiches, oat cakes, basty cheese. I told them they were awful lucky to get a treat like a basty cheese because you only get head when a cow is just new calved. But it was all such a waste, Johnny. It was all such... The cheese was too strong for them, and I had to let 3 of them out onto the medding. I had to let 3 of them out onto the medding to be sick. Well, Johnny, Elasigi kept on asking if they could drill holes in a croft to see how their containers would react under great pressure and heat.
Well, I told them there was no need to go to that lengths, and I offered them the use of my pipe-fired aga. Well, it's very hot, Johnny, and it hasn't been out since 1955. Since we had yon weak year with the pipes. Well, they thought this wasn't really suitable, so, John, it'll illustrate how much faith I had in their containers. I told them about a day I went down to Mart in week to sell my cross short-horn sturkey, Dennis. I called him that because he was awful fond of a dram. Anywhere now, Johnny, before going to Mart, I decided to give Chini a slow roast on. Chini was a 19-year-old Rhode Island Red hen. I knew she'd be tough, but I reckon a day or so inside the aga. When I was away at Mart, would soften her up a bit. Anywhere no, I shoved Chini in Leaga, securing my old Pyrex-covered roasting dish, and away I went to Mart. Well, I got a great price for Dennis, but then I fell in with a bad crowd slunks of farmers and cattle dealers who invited me, and especially the money I had got for Dennis, back to Mackay's Hotel for a dram. Well, I'm ashamed to tell you, yes, Johnny, but the next 3 days are a complete blank. Anyway or not, Johnny, when I got back to Crofty, Aga was still going strong, and Chini was done to a tea. Just perfect, absolutely perfect, like a spring chicken. Well, I pity tell the team of investigators if this didn't prove the worth of their containers under great pressure and heat, what did? Well, by this time, Johnny, they were looking at one another and laughing a lot. One of them asked if they could try plutonium pie in the oven. And then the lassie came clean and said they were from Nyrex and no Pyrex. And the reason they wanted to drill holes in my crofty, Johnny, was to see if it was suitable for a nuclear suppository. Excuse me there, Basie. Excuse me butting in on you there, Basie, but surely you've got your wordies a little mixed up there. Surely you mean a nuclear repository. Oh, no, Johnny, you see, you didn't ken where I told them to pet it.
Yes, and we have a wee song spinning on a turntable for you here. Take ye back a year or two. If ye mind your Caithness hussy, with its wheezy butt and ben, and a doggy sleeping by the fire, beside a clockin' hen, a dresser set with bowlies, and a bandbox on a kist, and a cuggy fellow suans, and a stoolie wi' a list. If ye mind, boy, oh, if ye mind. If ye mind the whitened kirkie, with its mouldy earthy send, and the blinking faces round ye, trying hard to look intent. On the blessed Bible pages, ye drew sheep and starkies lean, and ye carved your initials in the pew when your father shut his een. If ye mind, boy, oh, if ye mind. If ye mind the jolly skill days, when ye proudly play sky high, and ye tumbled in the burnie, then skelped a boot till dry. But your mother spread ye on her lap, and exercised her hand, and ye tumbled till your baba, 'cause ye wasna fit to stand. If ye mind, boy, oh, if ye mind. If ye mind the day ye travelled with your father in a cart, far frae Hussey Kirk and Burn in the world lacked your pairt. How ye turned and looked with a prayer in your face, and how ye vowed to play the man and bring them no disgrace.
disgrace. Div ye mind, boy, oh, div ye mind. Div ye mind that Caithness hussy, with its wheezy butt and ben, and a doggy sleepin' by the fire, beside a clock and hen. A dresser set with bowlies, and a bandbox on a kist, and a coggy fell suins, and a stully by a last. Div ye mind, boy, oh, div ye mind.
Div ye mind, boy. Oh, div ye mind. That took a few wee back a while there. Yes, and now it's time to slip across till our sister radio station in the Orkney Islands, Radio Papa Westray. Your station in the North Isles is Radio Papa Westray. We're number one with the oilmen and the minister in the vestry. Tune in for the price of fish, or when you're feeling flat, for the man to put you right is swinging Magnus Twat. Hello. Hello, good morning. Good morning and welcome to Radio Papa Westray. Magnus Twat reporting from these misty Orkney Islands. We'll first this morning's road traffic report here on Papa Westray. Well, local crofter Mago Feemster is walking with her milking cow Marina to Eric Flett's Bull at the north end of the island. Being a single track road, we're one better than the mainland because we've got two tailbacks. Aye, one hanging for the cow. Now the air travel report. Air travel report. Well, you'll all ken be know that the Logan Air flight between Westray and Papa Westray is in the Guinness Book of Records as being the world's shortest commercial airline flight. It has an average duration of 1 minute 58 seconds. However, this morning there's a 60-mile-an-hour tailwind, so she's 2 minutes 5 seconds early. My goodness, this means it'll arrive before it left. I knew this morning's local news here at Papa Westray. Well, the ancient hieroglyphic writing which has been found on the walls of the Norse settlement at Scarabray has finally been deciphered by local historian and plumber Geordie Tate. He says it reads thus: never mind standing on the seat, for a right good plumber, ring Geordie Tate. Now, all this bales of cannabis that's been washed up in the shores of Orkney, thrown overboard from a passing ship, have caused a lot of problems locally. A local crofter, Magnus Linkler, had found a bale of this cannabis washed up in the shore. He thought it was a bale of hay, and he fed it to his milking cow, Macy. Well, he's been fined at Kirkwall Sheriff Court for selling hallucinatory butter that spreads itself. Well, that's all the news here at Papa Westray. Magnus Twat reporting it back to Radio Caithness and Johnny. Are you there, John? Yes, welcome back to Swinging Radio Caithness. And now we're away across for this morning's local radio mastermind competition till Radio Betty Hill in Sutherland, and John Angus Mackay. We'll just have to take a wee sip of tea here. So it's over to Radio Betty Hill for the local radio mastermind competition. Radio Betty Hill. Hello, good morning and welcome back to Radio Betty Hill to this morning's local radio mastermind competition. Let me remind you of the rules of this competition. It's virtually the same as the television version, except that each week we just have the one competitor in the studio, and at the end of a 15-week period, the person with the highest score wins the first prize, which this year is a fabulous weekend for two inside a duty-free warehouse of your choice at any distillery in Scotland. The prize was kindly donated by the Scottish Illicit Whisky Distillers Association and Her Majesty's Customs and Excise. And could we have this week's competitor into the famous black chair? Could you give your name and your occupation, please? Aye, my name is Jokie McPherson.
And I'm a lapsed teetotal distillery worker. For Glentucket Distillery on Speyside. And what is your specialist subject? The history of Glentucket Distillery from March 1834 till they give me my drammy this very morning. Okay, Jockey McPherson, you have 2 minutes on the history of Glentucket Distillery and your time starts now. The 2 oldest distilleries in Scotland are Glentucket and Glenlivet. How did they get their names? Well, in March 1834, 2 brothers was making an illicit dram in the hills near Tomintoul, when they spotted the excise coming down the glen. They hurriedly cleared up, but they didn't ken fit to do with the copper still. One said Tucket, but the other said leave it. Correct. In distillery jargon, which is the odd one out? Drammy, nippy, large one, doon the leg of my boiler suit, mouthful, toothful, bucketful, or Colin Campbell? Doon the leg of my boiler suit. It's a hiding place, all the rest are whiskey measures. Correct. And which of these measures has the greatest capacity? The bucket fee? No, it's Colin Campbell, because when it's free, it takes a hell of a bucketful. In the whisky recession of 1980, you were briefly made redundant from the distillery, and you got a job with the county roads department working a compressed air pneumatic drill. How did you react? Aye, well, after coming off the drum, my shock was so bad, for the first fortnight I didn't need any power to work a drill. Aye. You went to old Dr. McRae in the village with your shake. What was his diagnosis? He said, "Machty me, Maloon, we're shock out bad. You must be spelling some." Correct. Your great hero and fellow distillery worker, Colin Campbell, over a number of years carried several thousand gallons of whisky out through the distillery gates in 2 hot water bottles slung from his neck. He was frequently questioned by the customs and excise about the swellings on his chest. What was his standard reply? "Oh, you can cry me Mary, I've had the operation." Correct. And on his way into the distillery in the mornings, he was again frequently questioned about why he was flat-chested in the mornings. What again is his now famous standard reply? "I fed the bear before I come awa." In 1984, you pulled the wrong handle and 1,600 gallons went into the River Spey. What was the outcome? We all learned to swim. In 1987, when Colin Campbell fell into the spirit vessel, 3 things happened. What were they? The bacteria count went up, production went down, and there was a fight over if I was getting to wring out his boiler suit. In 1989, the distillery was overrun with mice. Why was this? Hamish at Distillery Cart was a war getting dried out. Correct. Earlier this year, you had bored a hole in a barrel and you were siphoning out a pailful when you saw the customs and excise coming. How did you react? Well, I was startled, but I finished. And we have a wee bit of a song spinning on the turntable for you here from Radio Achnagat. Written and sung on this recording by that failed youth opportunity neep poor, Colin Campbell. Colin was fired for firing the neeps hour hard into the cart. And they're going recht out there the other side and hitting a boss in the head. Says he never came because it sounded awful like neep hitting neep.
A wee song set up the back of Keith in Bombshell, and it's called Kilbaddy's Bonnie Quine.
There was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine that made my heart stand still when I saw her on the hill. With her loving, laughing gaze, how she cheered the Bamshire braes. There was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine. 'Twas the way she helped her dad to work the canny craft. 'Twas the way she caught the kye, her voice in evening soft. 'Twas the way she took my hand, led me o'er the rugged land. There was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine. Though she was so briefly mine, how I loved Kilbaddy's quine. And we tasted summer wine mongst the wild mountain thyme. And though my heart is sere, oh the memories are rare, there was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine. Sometimes new in simmer time, I think I see Kilbaddy's quine. Her voice comes o'er the braes, her laughing, loving gaze. And though she's gone since years, oh there's never been nae tears, there was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine. There was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine that made my heart stand still when I saw her on the hill. With her loving, laughing gaze, how she cheered the Bamshire braes. There was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine. There was something awful fine about Kilbaddy's bonny quine.
Yes, and now it's time for our phone-in programme, Hedge Your Line. And today, Hedge Your Line to the DSS, the Department of Health and Social Security. And with me in the studio here is our resident experts on all kinds of benefit from that department, and from the island of Lewis, Mardina MacLeod.
Oh, here in Camerahau Farley.
And the same to you, Mardina. Would you mind speaking English? And the same to you, Johnny. And we have our first... We have our first caller on the line. Hello, who's that?
Hello, this is Inverness Telephone Exchange. I've an Isaac Anonymous from Dingwall on the line. Will you pay for the call?
Oh, no ham again, is it? Okay, Isaac, get your line to the DSS.
Aye, Cove.
How's it going? Now, here's my problem. I've been out of work for several years and it's cut my loodian. The price of keeping whippets and ferrets these days, I mean. And there's nothing in non-ferrous metals. Now... Now, I've been out of work for several years. I used to work with the county in the roads department, but I had to give it up in the summertime because I'm allergic to the sun. I kept getting blisters on my backside. Now, the Godgies doing the DSS in Dingwall. The Godgies doing the DSS in Dingwall are giving me a bad time, saying I've got to get some kind of work. Can you help me at all? Oh, well, now, let me see what we can do for you here. You're allergic to the sun. Could you handle a winter road mending job at all? No bother. Cove, I'm bending over backwards to try and come forwards here now. Well, apparently you're allowed to specify what stretch of road you'd like to work on to save travelling. Have you any preference, Isaac, for the coming winter? For road mending? Yes, I would like to work, in fact I must work, on the stretch between Cockbridge and Tom and Towel.
dear, now that could be difficult. Now, let me see what else I can do for you. What about weekend working in the winter? Would you work at the weekends? No bother, Cove. I'm only trying to help you. I'm doing my best to help you here now. You can put me down as being available for Sunday gritting on the Struy. Oh, well now, Isaac, you could well be in luck here, because I have it on good authority that just as soon as the Dornoch Bridge is open, Highland Regional Council plan to start Sunday gritting in the Struy. Yes. Welcome back here to Swing on Radio Caithness, bringing ye all lots of very best in radio entertainment across the hills and moors of Caithness. And now we're away south till the bonny Black Isle for this morning's local news headlines on Black Isle Radio. Aye. Good morning, right enough, and welcome to the bonny Black Isle. This is your DJ for the day here, Donny Mathieson. All set for another session of shaving away the depression here on Swinging Black Isle Radio. Right enough, well, here's this morning's local news headlines. That's a peps. The management, the Highland Fabricators Oil Rig Construction Yard at Neg, have written a letter of complaint to local crofter Colin Campbell that his yows have been wandering through the yard making a damn nuisance of themselves. Colin has written back saying that this was perfectly natural at this time of the year because the yows must have heard they'd a hydraulic ram. A Highland Regional Councillor who fell asleep at the checkout at Howden's Garden Centre in Inverness and was sold by mistake as a garden gnome. Says he quite likes his new job and it's much the same as the one he had before. A country house belonging to a toff in the glen of Achfarish was stripped by very thorough burglars at the weekend. The radiators are ripped from the walls, the hot water tank, even the lavatory was stolen. A police spokesman, the local Bobby, says he has nothing to go on. Following the government announcement that people who sleep rough in the streets will be exempt from the poll tax, Colin Campbell has been seen on Academy Street in Inverness at 4 a.m. wrapping a press and journal. Well, that's all the news here in the bonny Black Isles. Back to Radio Caithness and Johnny. Are you there, John? Well, yes, welcome back. And now it's time for another episode of the Campbells o' Slack Tacket. From Radio Achnagat in Aberdeenshire, another episode of the Campbells o' Slack Tacket, an everyday story o' a Buchan Fairman folk. But first, let me bring you up to date. In this week's episode, Geordie Campbell and his son Willie are standing in a cornier that he means a slack tacket with a coo and a halter. They're waiting for the Department of Agriculture man to arrive because they have applied to the department and the government to register a brand new breed of coo, the Campbells o' Slack Tacket. Here he comes, Dad. Here he comes in his fine new car. Mind and spec kind of properly so we can understand what the hell you're saying. Like I was showing you, Dad. Emphasize your vowels. Emphasize your vowels, Dad. Shut your moo, Willie. Cautious devil, you can't damn find him as regular as clockwork. Hello there, Mr. Campbell. I'm the man from the Department of Agriculture. Is this your new breed of coo? Nah, it's my son, Willie. Try the other end of the halter. Oh, I'm awful sorry. I didn't get out of the office muckle these days. No, so this is her. She looks very ordinary to me. Here, my man, there's nothing ordinary, but that's cool. This is Flora, the world's first polyunsaturated cool. Polyunsaturated? I thought that come from sunflower seeds. Aye, well, this was my brilliant idea, you see. Hey, hang fire here, Wally. This is my idea. I come up with this idea when you was still throwing scurly out of your high chair. You see, my man, I weaned Flora off a mixture of bruised corn, neeps and her ground-up relatives, and onto nothing but sunflower seeds. And now she's eating a bin of hannerwicht every day. Oh, my goodness, only side effects. Yeah, just eating, my man, just eating. It's a bit of a job digesting all these seeds. So I wouldn't stand for you or stand. She can be ozone unfriendly at that time. Mind you, she's hell of a good at keeping the crows off a barley. And she's hit a minister off his bike twice. Now, tell me, Mr. Campbell, how does Flora's calf thrive on this kind of milk? Oh, no, my man. Not only is Flora polyunsaturated, she's been decaffeinated as well. See, Flora's milk's very valuable. Hippies are daft about it, you see. No, and she's half easy to milk, you can. When old-fashioned good is very hard work, this squeeze, pull and release. But with Flora, the milk's as thin, you just squeeze and release. There's no need to pull, you can. Now, tell me, Mr. Campbell, what's her pedigree? I'll need it for my files, you see. Aye, well, I bought her off a vegetarian fight settler if I come up here for the south, and bought the firm a nether slack tucket. A 4 on 12 bad winters, a walk back home again, no. Well, he said she was an Ayrshire cross, but he wasn't sure of her feather. He thought it might have been a Vauxhall Cavalier. A Vauxhall Cavalier? Oh, aye, well, you can't fight settlers. It would have been the artificial inseminator. There are driving Vauxhalls anew. Into the Oxter, say to spec and date with Lawrence of Camney and SMT again. Now, is there any other advantages of this kind of breed, Mr. Campbell? Aye, the biggest benefit of all. Flora's producing the world's first polyunsaturated, decaffeinated garden fertilizer. We're making an absolute fortune off it. Turn up your car wireless here. We've made an advert all by ourselves. Wally made this wee advert. Turn up your car wireless and we'll hear it on radio. Ach, na God. Gardeners, that's the most valuable thing you can put on your garden. Yes, shh, you can fit. Throw away those nasty chemical fertilizers. It's time you get organic with shh. You can fit, or as it is better known round here, a muck out of Geordie's buyer. So come on, you keen gardeners, have something to tell about the grand product that I have to sell. It's beautiful stuff, had a waft of the smell. It's the muck out of Geordie's buyer. Just dig plenty in and you'll ken all the odds that your peas will be bulging right out of their pods. You'll lay tatties and neeps by the bar, a load using the muck out of Geordie's buyer. It's good for the roses, it fair makes them bloom. You'll hae the best borders for money a mile round. You'll hae nae bother winning bucking and bloom using the muck out of Geordie's buyer. If ever to buy some you should feel inclined, just give us a phone call, no matter the time. The number slot tucket 679 and get the muck out of Geordie's buyer. Shh, you can fit. Hi, I knew it's back to Radio Caithness and Johnny. Are you there, Johnny? Yes, welcome back. And now it's time to go down to Radio Ballinluig in Perthshire. Bonnie Perthshire there and Billy Henderson. Here, Billy. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning and welcome to Radio Ballinluig here in Bonnie Perthshire. And first this morning, Motorsport for your brand new circuit, the A9. And first in yesterday's race was the Porsche. driven at a remarkable 155 mile an hour. Second was a Granada driven by the Bobies. And third was a Larry for Dalwhinnie tippers. I knew this morning's local news headlines at an industrial tribunal yesterday at Perth Sheriff Court. Colin Campbell for Dalwhinnie sued his former employers, the Coast Guard Service, for unfair dismissal. For the past 31 years, Colin has been drawing a salary as Dalwhinnie's lighthouse keeper. However, the Coast Guard say at Dalwhinnie is 60 mile for the sea in only direction, and they had no idea who Colin got onto the computer. In his defence, Mr Campbell said that Dalwhinnie was the highest village in Britain, and on a clear night his light could be seen in the South Minch and the North Sea. The sheriff found in his favour, and as he was serving both sides of Scotland, he doubled the salary and backdated it 31 years. Blessings on you and welcome to Radio Scallywag here in the Shetland Islands in the land of the simmer dim. Doddy Oddy reporting. Now here's the local news headlines. A second generation Shetland Chinese restaurateur, Hung Lo Inkster, recently in the news when he chammed the health inspector's fingers in the door, is back in the news again. His application to the Shetland Islands Council to open a revolving restaurant the top of a gas flare stack at Sulamvo has been approved. He has also won the contract with Loganair for the in-flight catering on the world's shortest flight. Westray to Papa Westray is a duration of 1 minute 58 seconds. And although it's a standard set menu of Shetland bird's nest soup, passengers will have 3 choices: in a hurry, force-fed or intravenous. Following the news of an outbreak of Dutch elm disease in Shetland, we've been inundated with calls as to where the elm was, or any other tree for that matter. Well, the outbreak actually occurred in local crofter Ruby Chamison's box bed. And no, Ruby, we've been in touch with our resident expert on timber matters, the manager of MFI in Aberdeen, and he says try painting the bed with paraffin. But for God's sake, didn't smoke the clay pipe for about a week, you know. Now, you'll all have heard by now about the Findhorn Challenge. This little toonie on the Murray Coast has put in a challenge for the world's most prestigious yacht race, the America's Cup. Now, the Yanks are absolutely intrigued by this, and the head of the New York Yacht Club has been trying to get them all day. It's very late at night, but it's very late at night. Nobody's left in the Findhorn Yacht Club except the cleaner, Mrs. Mary Rose from Elgin. The phone rings. Hello, this is Mary Rose for Elgin speaking. Findhorn Yacht Club here. Hi, Mary, this is David Connors, president of the New York Yacht Club. Anybody else around there? No, they're all walking blazing, I know you can. Mary, I'm intrigued by this Findhorn Challenge. I'm planning to sail across there, but I can't find it on my world atlas. Can you help me? Oh, I will. I just come fair over the Atlantic here as if you was marking for 4S. And then stick your head up in between Caithness and Orkney. And then turn right at Chona Groats, come fair down the coast. I'll leave the torch on my bike switched on. So you'll ken fond to come ashore. You'll easy ken it. It's an old rudge with 30-inch rims. And a very uncomfortable saddle. Hey, tell me, Mary, is the Findhorn sloop a catamaran? Nah, just put him out with a bowl of saps. No, Mary, I mean, what design is the Findhorn yacht? I'm sworn to secrecy, I'm sworn not to tell. Come on, Mary, is there anything I can bring you across from the good old USFA that you might like? The loons that used to come to Lossiemouth during the war to flee the plains, they had recht fine long fogs and stockings. No problem, Mary. Now, what about the design? Apparently she's based on an East Coast salmon cobble. Salmon cobble, Mary, never heard of it. It must be revolutionary. Has she a big draft? Drafty? My God, they took me for a sail in the bay. I was just perished. Now, Mary, tell me how she's rigged. What kind of sails has she, Mary? Oh, she's bra-rigged. Is that the Scots word, bra, Mary? Nah, bra as in big woman. She's modelled. The sails is modelled on a Mrs. McCorkadale for 4S. Yes. Big woman. See when she's out in the bay there with the cups full of wine, you cannot see the Black Isle. Now, Mary, where's all the dollars coming? Who's behind all this? Hey, well, didn't say on a hen, but I heard the knocker. He was a hen nam. But the rendering business is not so good to know. So they'll have plenty tallow to rub on our boat. Well, I'll hit a run. Mind the fogs and look out for a bike now. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
I have heard the mountains crying when the north wind howls our way, and I've seen the heather dying on the hills above the Spey. So take my hand, sweet darling, and don't let time slip by. Unlike the heather mountain, our time is but a sigh. I have seen the birch woods turning on the hills above the Spey, and the golden leaves were falling like all our passing days. So take my hand, sweet darling, and don't let time slip by. Unlike the golden birchwood, our time is but a sigh. So stay with me, sweet darling, in the valley of the Spey, and hold my hand so tightly every passing day, and we'll see the birchwoods turning and hear the mountain cry, and treasure every moment, for our time is but a sigh, and treasure every moment, for our time is but a sigh.
Ladies and gentlemen of Inverness, I have treasured this while with you. Good night.